want to move on to something. I mean, we sort of had this discussion before match, but I want to look into, to talk about Derek Chisora versus Daniel Dubois. Derek Chisora is saying he wants to fight Daniel Dubois. However,
right.
1 second. However, Chisora's resurgence exposes a broken system and a dangerous mismatch against Dubois. If we didn't go through it, so this is what it says here. If we didn't go through it, they'd strip him, Daniel Dubois said promoter Frank Warren to seconds out when he asked if they're going to do the fight between the IBF world champion and Derek Chisora.
Look, even Dempsey saying Derek will get smoked.
He will. He's one of the guys who's an absolute...
Ray Davis said the same thing. He said, it's a horrible fight. I don't want it to happen.
Do you know what? I think Derek has earned that right from a broken system, and that is because you've got too many different commissions that are going on. But it goes back to exactly what I said about the Mike Tyson-Jake Paul fight. If something goes wrong in these fights, the British Boxing Board of Control, if and only if they sanction it, which I don't think they will refuse it if he passes his medical, will have a lot to answer for. And more importantly, so will the IBF. Now, just because he's managed to get into a mandatory position doesn't necessarily mean he should take it. And
his 50th fight, doesn't he?
Well, I get that that's what you want. I mean, you could argue that Tony Bellew in his last fight against Alexander Usyk, at his last fight at Cruiserweight, was probably the worst decision of his life, and he got ironed out.
Yeah, but
this would be...
He's glad he got ironed out, and all those, he said, didn't he?
What was that, sorry?
I think Tony Bellew said he's glad he got ironed out by Usyk.
Yeah, I mean, he knew that was good. He said he was really, really honoured for him to call him out, didn't he, Tony Bellew? But Tony Bellew is not backwards in coming forwards, just like Del Boy. I don't imagine for 1 minute that Del is going to pull out of that fight, and it's a shame. And I do understand why he's involved in the fight, and I do believe he'll sit there and thinks, oh, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. But the truth of the matter is, you're talking about a very seasoned boxer. I'll watch what I say here. Mind you, I'm not an Uber driver, so I won't get you in. You've got a very seasoned boxer here fighting against a very young, up-and-coming, hot fighter right now in Daniel Dubois.
Yeah.
And I think that it does raise concerns. I think he's got a legitimate place to argue he should fight because of the broken system. It's not his broken system, it's the system that's broke. But just because you could doesn't mean that you should. And by the way, the other fighter I include in that is Anthony Joshua. I don't want to see the rematch between him and Daniel Dubois. No, I don't.
Nah.
To be perfectly fair, I'm not sure I want to see AJ fight if he's got nothing other than Fury, I don't really want to see him fight a Moses.
I think Fury is going to give him a boxing lesson.
I think he will if they fight, but at the end of the day, I don't really mind not seeing both him and Tyson Fury ever again in the ring. I'd like to see Tyson Fury back in boxing. Really would like to see him back in boxing, but I don't want to see him back in the ring if I could help it. I think he's done wonderful for the sport.
With both of them, they're at their time now, and they both need to just exit, let the up-and-comers come through. But both being involved in boxing, I think they've both got a lot of impact. You know what I mean? Especially Tyson. I think that'd be great, behind the other side of that camera, having his say.
But do you know what? That's the way I sort of say things. I think I'm straight up with what I say. It is what it is. The life is what it is. It can be a bit lopsided, but I don't think that Derek Chisora should be entering that ring. I mean, I have changed my mind. I said he had the right to fight, but whether he's got the I don't necessarily think he should. And for me, I just think it's that fight that I don't want to see him in. I don't want Derek hurt. More than that, I don't want to see his legacy hurt.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I think you need to do another fight.
Yeah, I think he possibly does. But on the same token, he wants the big fight to make the money to do the exit, doesn't he?
Yeah, but he's earning enough money.
Yeah, but we say that, but we don't know. I mean, you don't know what sort of lifestyle that he's going to... That's it. It's just... You don't know what lifestyle that somebody's had. You only got to look at someone like Mike Tyson to show you, he's spent made a lot. And George Best probably said it most. He said, I spent most of my money on drink, women, and fast cars, and the rest I wasted. And that, I guess you could attribute to a Mike Tyson. So, we're going to finish up tonight on one thing. We had Carl the Cobra Froch made a comment on one of our posts about how he sees the fact that George Foreman would detonate any heavyweight of today's era. And rest in peace, champ. He said, I know. Carl the Froch Cobra said to me, he said, that's because Carl the Froch Cobra knows boxing. He knows what he's talking about. And this man would have smoked any heavyweight in today's. Do you? Oh, that's interesting.
Listen, don't get me wrong, George Foreman was a formidable boxer, with out-of-hand power. But I believe Tyson Fury beat him.
Okay.
God, of his skill, his speed, and he can take the punch as well. But I think Tyson moved like the Matrix. And I think George Foreman being so big was being tired out, and then that's when Tyson panties in like the later rounds, like the 6th, 7th, 8th round and all that. I don't think Foreman would have done that. That's my reason. I believe Tyson Fury beats Foreman.
Do you know what? I don't think I could disagree. And I'll tell you why. Now in today's era, the dieting, the training, the sports science that there is now makes these athletes better athletes, makes them more punch resistant, makes them hit harder. I think it's now more of a scientific battle about who does what, and do you know what I mean?
I'm not added up. I think Tyson Fury just.
Yeah, he is. I think
he's a big lump. He's got freakish power, and I can't believe I'm saying.
No, I can't, because you don't like British fighters.
Yeah, I think I've had too much. Yeah, I believe Tyson Fury is probably one of the very few British fighters I've dated and that Foreman group. And I've probably put Dennis Lewis in there.
Definitely. Right, anyway, guys, I'm going to bring it to a close now. But before I do, I want to say a massive shout out to Team Combat League, who have once again hired my services. And don't forget, if you want to see Team Combat Sports like no other, boxing one round, going hell for leather, and hopefully coming to the UK very, very soon. And I'll let the cat out of the bag a bit more about that a bit later. Do not forget to go to teamcombatleague.com or Dr. Phil's Merit TV. You can watch it. It's a new concept of boxing. It's headed up, and the president is Dewey Cooper, who is Francis Ngannou's trainer. Absolutely fantastic. There's some good names involved this year. I mean, we've seen some fights in there, haven't we, Max? Last year, Greg Hardy, he was in it. Pete Dobson's been in it. Jeff Mayweather's been involved. Evander Holyfield's been involved. Paulie Malignaggi. I mean, the list goes on, Devin. And some really, really good, hard-hitting, entertaining, that, believe it or not, the one-round concept will knock it out of the park. But once again, thanks very much, my good pal Max. And let's catch us in soon on the next live.
All right, mate.
Without food, Dan.
Yes, mate.
Catch you later.
That's no one.
Bye, mate.